Well, Chris, lots to digest following the match. 6 contentious decisions, not least the decision that you were sent off. What's your appraisal of what happened?
The 6 decisions that you've seen, I've seen, and everybody else has seen. So I don't want to go into it too much. I just feel really disappointed for the players. And the supporters and the club, because it wasn't deserved. I thought the performance was a really good one against a top championship side, a team that's come out of the Premier League, a team that's of course had not made the quickest of starts, which neither have Ipswich, but I'm sure at the start of the season everybody would have expected them to be in and around it as much as everybody would have expected us to be in and around it. A team that on Saturday played the league leaders and went toe-to-toe with them, and we went toe-to-toe with them as well. So, we deserved something from the game. The overall general performance was a step up from Saturday's second half performance and win. We definitely deserved something from the game. The game obviously got decided by a couple of bits of quality from them. We can look at our set piece, but it's an incredible delivery in there, and we just didn't react quick enough on the set play. And then Ross Stewart's fabulous finish from 25 yards, top corner. But I liked our mentality about the game. And there was a lot of challenges in that game through all the things that you've just mentioned, not least a deserved equaliser in the 92nd, 93rd minute. You know, something that, you know, you look at the top teams and everybody talks about set plays and the like, and the analysis that we went into in terms of we felt that was a weak part of their game. Defending that area of the goal, and you know, you've seen it with Arsenal. They get lauded for their set plays. It changes the game back into our favour just as much as it changed the game in their favour, the quality of their delivery. So our delivery was good. Every part of that sequence of events was good. Contact in the box all over the place, and a young midfield player gets his first goal for the football club that should have stood. So, there's a lot of things that I've talked about there, but certainly the moments I think that you've mentioned there, everybody that watched the game, in terms of people that have been in contact with me, that weren't present, but most importantly, everybody that was present, and I should imagine opposition benches as well as manager, would say that they were, quite baffled at some of the decisions that were made.
Have you had a clarification as to, with your dismissal, why it was a dismissal and not, say, a yellow card?
No, not yet. That'll come through tomorrow, but I think we just had a off-the-record chat regarding IFAB and the laws of the game. Of course, it was. I think Al said afterwards it was a touch of frustration, and rightly so, because I think even in the first half there was some certain situations, notably the penalty, which is never a penalty in a million years. The boy has a great touch, and Michael does incredibly well to pull out of it, and he just runs into him. Booking on Gus, booking for Armstrong, Ben Mee's tackle, all sorts of bits in there. But my attitude at half time was to get the players off the pitch, which I did, and I think everybody's seen it. And yet again, I've had notable people in football that I regard as friends and respect them for what they've achieved of like being baffled in terms of even getting a card, let alone a red card. I nonchalantly, ball gets rolled to me, and I nonchalantly sort of put it back to where it came from. It didn't come out of the stand, and unfortunately it's got a bit of a flyer on it, but you've seen it straight away, my reaction to it. I'm disappointed because ultimately I've not been able to help the team in the second half from the position where I want to be. But still saying that, I thought that the team's second half performance was pretty positive. It didn't look like a team that was sat at the bottom of the division. It looked a high quality second half performance against a top side. But ultimately, I wasn't there to help the team, so I had to apologise on that. But I think it sort of goes hand in hand with a lot of things that happened on the night.
So what, in terms of like the process, happens now? Can you appeal if you're minded to do so? How long are you banned for if you don't? What's the process?
If the rules are the rules, if I pick the ball up, if I approach the referee at half time and had a right pop at him, if I pick the ball up out my hands and booted it at him or at the fourth official or at their players or at their bench or booted it into the stand, then I would expect the necessary punishment that goes along with that, and I won't appeal. But I will appeal because, as you've seen on it, I've nonchalantly knocked it back. It's got a fly. I've gone straight into the stand. I've apologised to the guy. Everything's all sorted, and I've just turned around and I've got a red card facing him, put in my face. So, I will appeal. I believe the charge, if there is a charge that comes, and I'm not expecting one, but if there is one, I will appeal it, and I'll be okay for the Hull City game. Back where I want to be, because I didn't enjoy not being able to help the team. But I've got to say, Andy, as well, I am a little bit, and maybe, all make mistakes, and managers and coaches and players included, and sometimes officials have bad nights. I do getting a little bit tired in terms of, it seems to me that the appointment system is something that I have talked about in the past to senior officials, the PGMLO or whatever it is, in terms of why sometimes that we are a testing ground for referees. I think if you see the past record of the referees, if they're up and coming referees, why wasn't the referee had more championship games this season for the one or two that he's had? This is a team that's come out of the Premier League. It's a team that went incredibly close in getting into the Premier League last season. This is a top-notch championship game, regardless of league positions. It's a high-profile game. There's Stephen Martin, who's a top-class championship referee, being a fourth official at one of the games. And going back to what I said, the appointment, if it's earned, why isn't the referee, over the last two seasons, been a regular in the championship? So why aren't we being given an experienced referee for this fixture? Or if it's somebody that they think a lot about, why isn't he refereed over the last two seasons regularly in the championship? So the appointment is something, and it just feels as if, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll chuck him in at Bramall Lane, and if he does well, everything's all right. He can handle a really vociferous, home support, and as it always is, which it rightly is. He handles it, or he doesn't, and sometimes this is the thing that I don't get, the appointment system on it, and on that front, I think sometimes as well, naturally, people think I'm going into Bramall Lane, it's 27, 28, 29,000. I've got to show me personality. I've got to get a grip of the game. I've got to show that I'm involved in the game. And I think we all know from experience, the best ones are the ones that go under the radar. Well, certainly he didn't go under the radar on Tuesday night.
With regard to the process of selection, is there a dialogue between managers, not just you, but other managers that may well presumably think the same, with the PGMOL?
I think that I believe there is a rating system that the top games get given to the referees who are in form. I think as well, why wouldn't a I don't know what's happening in the Premier League. Why wouldn't a Premier League referee want to referee a midweek game? We're early in the season. they get into the swing of things. If I know loads of Premier League referees. I'm sure that they would have enjoyed a run out on a Tuesday night to keep them ticking over as well. So no Premier League referees refereed on a Tuesday night. I'm sure they weren't all in Europe, because obviously you have a select group of Premier League referees that are on the European panel as well. So that was something that I didn't get as well. So I think you get rated and you get judged and scored and assessed. So I should imagine that. I would say that if you looked at the fixture list there, that was, take out the league positions, but that was a high quality top championship game on Tuesday night, one of the top ones. Where else was there? Where else was the game? Birmingham Wrexham was there. Birmingham Sheffield Wednesday, Wrexham Leicester, Ipswich played. I don't know. Ipswich played Charlton, I think.
Middlesbrough
Stoke. That's one. That's the top one. Top two. Southampton, Sheffield United. That might be up there. Where I'm coming from.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah. Changing tack, because I'm sure this will roll on, won't it? When decisions are made with regard to punishments or appeals, etc.
Referees have a bad day.
Yeah.
I've got to say, but I did feel that from a personality point of view, it felt as if, and I should imagine everybody else saw that, and I'll be absolutely stunned if the assessor can come out and go, no, everything was all right, it was brilliant, it was a great performance.
And is that a quick process? Like, because I think the assessor was there, obviously, because I think
he should be, shouldn't it? It's like me assessing my team at 10 o'clock, isn't it? Have we done well? Have we done well? I thought we did well. I thought we did okay from where we are, and sort of trying to get it back on a load of fronts. I think Al was spot on in terms of when he spoke to you afterwards. We're still trying to, we changed the shape a little bit. We're trying to find a way a little bit about our players. Yeah, it is a good group of players. I understand that, and yeah, this team will come together. And I think even I've seen it over with 3 games now. We should be on 5 points. We've got to get a result at home to Charlton to draw, and we get a result on Tuesday night. So we should be on 5 points. But I think people already are seeing sort of the change in the mentality of the team going to the end, like they did on Tuesday night against the top side. Physically, I've talked about it. We need to get up to speed. I'm working with the players in terms of, sort of what's the best formation and fitting them in and getting them back to their levels that they were last season, because that isn't easy, from what it is. And I if we'd have conceded that goal on Tuesday night, the first goal last season, I'm sure everybody just gone, right, come on, back onto it. This is what we're about, and there is a little bit of that. But I've got to say, not much, because I thought we came back well and we had good chances to get back into the game. So there's all different things to work on.
Alan Neil was talking about the fact that in terms of placing players in the formation where you want them to be, in your mind's eye, you're a little bit closer to where you want to be.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Gus at the top of the pitch. In terms of the build, in terms of the 3 centre-halves, I thought we defended really well. Southampton play a little bit like a Swansea way, a risk and reward. You can't get caught up in terms of possession, but where they are, they've got top players at the top of the pitch. Tom Fellows, Adam Armstrong, Ross Stewart, Finn Azaz, they bought for 10 million, bought Fellows for 10 million. Adam Armstrong, Cameron Archer that we know about. Young players that they've got. Ryan Fraser coming off the bench. You look at their group. They're a top group. So from an attacking point of view, thought we defended well. We broke the game up. We were a little bit loose on the first pass out. I thought we could have hurt them a little bit more. And it was the game that we expected it to be. And second half, they went direct. Just unfortunate, as I said, talked about the goals already. That they went out the feet, direct, off the top, and played like that, which everybody has that opportunity to play against. But Yeah, it's fine. It's finding us. It's finding us, respecting the opposition and what they've got. But it was a top championship fixture in my opinion. I watched the game against Middlesbrough on Saturday. There was nothing in there to frighten us. In a way, both teams have got some really good players, and Middlesbrough have started off the season on house on fire with Rob, and it's a fantastic start for them and fully deserved. And Southampton want to be up there, so and I didn't see this incredibly struggling team that maybe I've seen getting walloped 5-0 against Ipswich and getting smashed all over the place in the previous games.
In terms of availability for this weekend, well, at the last presser you were talking about Tahith Chong and scans.
Yep.
Have you had an outcome?
Yeah, unfortunately he's not great. He tore meniscus cartilage in his knee in the warm up, so that's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. So not as bad as what it could have been, but unfortunately missing a player that we would have been involved at Oxford and would have been involved obviously for the up and coming game. So international break in a way comes at a right time. He might miss a couple of the games just after the international break, but fingers crossed he won't be out for too long.
Is everybody else okay after Southampton?
Yeah, delighted with Tom Davies's contribution. I thought he settled City down as well. That was City's best game. Playing the two of them in midfield gave us the balance that we wanted. I thought Ty was great goal. Possibly a bit disappointed in terms of he had another couple of opportunities. But I thought his performances were a lot better. Gus played the full hit as well, which is key as well. Getting back Gus to Gus, and from a physical point of view, I think everybody understands when you physically in and around your peak and where you should be, then you see clearer pictures and you're not tired and you don't make poor decisions. So getting Gus back there as well. I thought defensively, second half there was no great pressure that we were under. We dealt with majority of things first half, pretty comfortable. And when Coops had to make a save, he had to make a save, but I didn't see him making a lot of saves. It's just really at the top of the pitch, that final bit, which is always the most difficult thing to get right, and which we will do in time get right.
Just to clarify, is Ben Godfrey available for selection again?
No, he's just got a personal issue at the moment, so he's not available for us.
Hull City then this weekend, and Ollie McBurnie, a player obviously exceptionally well. He's having a great start to the season.
Yeah, he should have a red and white shirt on, in my opinion, and he was available. There's always talk with Kiefer and Kiefer going. I think we all realise that horses for courses as well, and different ways of playing and different forwards I've always gone with. We've got linked players, we've got Callum, we've got Gus, we've got linked players, we've got players that stretch the game in terms of Tyrese, but always for us a number 9 in the building will give us the different options. So there was always a chance that Kiefer would go at the end of the season, stroke the start of the season, especially when the deal was made and became available. Speaking to Steve, obviously I wasn't here at the time, and Kiefer wanted to go as well, and the new manager didn't feel he was part of the plan. So a good bit of business by Steve, and Kiefer got an extended deal, and I think he got a couple more quid as well into his deal. So players being players, not being critical of him, because he contributed to our 92 points last season, but I would have always been looking for a number 9, and Ollie was available. He's somebody that I keep in contact with quite regular. I'm a fan, not just as a player, as a personality. I thought he made a great contribution to our ninth place finish, and I think I think there's always contribution. I think there's always sort of criticism of Ollie by certain real small sections of our support, which I think there is criticisms of everybody by small sections of our support. But the contribution he made, getting the team back up, getting the team to a playoff semi-final, getting the team to an FA Cup semi-final, contributions as a culture setter in the changing room, as a player, as a person, and playing his part in when people talk about the financial aspects, and we paid £8 million for Moose and Mooset, and we paid £18 million for Ollie McBurnie. Yeah, we finished 9th in the Premier League, and by the way, from 17th to 9th, there's about 9 places there, and there's a solidarity payment, and there's about £2.5–3 million worth of solidarity payments there. So them boys at times sort of pay for themselves in terms of what they contribute to get into that position. I think Ollie was a big part of that, scored some crucial goals. I love him to bits as a lad. I love him to bits as a player. And he should have a Sheffield United number 9 shirt on at this particular moment. And I know Steve Bettish tried to get him in. Steve close to him as well. And I think he offered the chance to the manager to come in off his own back, to come in pre-season and show what he had. But I think there was not an enthusiasm for that to happen, and he had Ipswich Town in for him. I know he had other options to go to, and Hull City made him a deal that he wanted to take. But I'm sure, and I'm not being disrespectful to Hull, but the affinity and the affection he has for this football club, for him to come in and want to do pre-season, basically a trial to see what he's about, I think shows his enthusiasm and his desire to come in. But that's gone, and we've seen what he's doing now. So unfortunately, he's not our player; he's Hull City's player.
And the overall picture then, to wrap it all together, in terms of steps forward from Sheffield United, in the hope of getting a victory at Hull, what do you want to see from the Blades this weekend? Similar
performance to what I've saw second half at Oxford, and most importantly for the majority of time against a top-notch team that should be aiming to get into the Premier League in Southampton. Those attributes, defensively being really strong and solid, and keeping a good shape, being compact, being hard to play against, hard to break through, and on the other side, control of the game, getting into good positions, showing the quality that I'm sure will come with better performances. So that'll be my message to the players. Don't like losing. I don't ever want to be happy and satisfied with coming off the pitch losing a game of football. But I thought I believe the supporters saw that on Tuesday night. They weren't after us, and quite easily they could be after us in terms of the position that we're in. But I never felt that. I thought they saw a committed performance. We tried to play, we tried to create, we tried to get back into the game and try to go and win the game from those positions. So in possession, the control that we saw with Tom Davies coming in, that was better for us. Taking key moments, a key, showing that little bit of extra quality and belief around the final third, and that we'll have chances. But we know that they've turned some good sides over, and it's a championship and it's a competitive league, and we have to play well. As I said, there's not just there's Ollie who'll want to do well. There's Lunny who'll do well, wants to do well, and John Egan as well, who'll want to play well. Regan as well. So there's a big Sheffield United connection there. So, and it's a local derby as well. It's always been always been quite lively games when we've gone to the East of Yorkshire.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Ta.
Morning, Chris.
Morning.
You touched on it there with Andy. Players make mistakes, managers make mistakes. We're human beings at the end of the day. Referees are no different. But the difference is that we can ask you about them, isn't it? Would you advocate for more sort of accountability from referees in terms of explaining decisions, maybe to?
Well, it seems that attitude in the Premier League, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see Howard Webb and Michael Owen explaining decisions, and got a lot of time for Howard. Obviously, a local guy as well, so he's the head of that organisation. This is a big league that we're playing in. It's not a Mickey Mouse league. It's not a pub league as something was once talked about a few years ago. This is Championship football. So yeah, I think that we have to. As I said, I think we're all confused about the appointment.
Yeah.
Nobody's explained that to me. We've had an off the record chat about that in terms of the appearances over the last sort of 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And why wasn't it? I'm not saying that we should have the best referee in the Championship every week.
Yeah.
I get that.
We should have a Championship referee.
to match two teams that high profile game.
Yeah. Something we touched on before as well about the reaction to disappointment. I know a few years ago that was an issue for you, but were you a little bit enthused when things went against you on Tuesday night, the way that the players reacted to that and didn't go under and kept going right to the end? Is that
a lot of things went against us as a football club the other night. A lot of things, as losing, the players losing their manager at half time. They didn't lose their manager. I might say, well, he didn't boot the ball into the crowd, but like I said, I'll take a yellow.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I did. Do you think that honestly that I would boot the ball into the crowd if I thought a red card was coming? And I hadn't lost my head. You saw my reaction. It was a calm reaction. Yeah. I wasn't charging over to the referee and absolutely leaving loads on him.
Yeah.
I was walking off to get. I think the last player was Jaff to get him off the pitch, get into the changing room to tell him that to be fair, how well we've done up against the top side. So I thought the reaction was great, and they have to, because things are going to go against through a game and through a season. It's something that we pride ourselves on. The reaction to losing the game at Charlton was one to come back and win a game of football at Oxford. Yeah. So can we produce that same level of performance? And I am always. I know we talked about it. Championship games, how many games you play well, how many games that is pretty average, and how many games that you really don't play where you want to be. We all want to be in that top bracket, all want to put in big performance for 46 games. It doesn't happen at any level. Yeah. But the level of performance was pretty good, as Al said afterwards, but marrying it up and balancing it off and getting the right result, because the level of performance deserved the result on the night.
Yeah, it should have been a big moment for everyone, but especially for Siddy. I think he was halfway up the cop by the time he'd realised that the whistle had gone. I mean, when that first goal does come for him, it's going to be some celebration, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, you just think, like you said, you're scratching your head. I was in the coach's room, and it was incredibly difficult because you just heard the roar, and sort of found out that we'd scored and got a deserved equaliser, and City scores it, and you're delighted for City, because he's had as we talked about in the previous press conference, he's had a tough time of it. Yeah. Playing there in the single six. He did it on Saturday in a different formation. We had 3 at the back, but when he's played as a single six with just 2 centre halves, because the 2 fullbacks have been pushed right on, and the 2 wings have been pushed right on, it's exposed him. And he's felt lost and confused and been on his own. I think everybody would see that. Yeah. You'll have seen that from a tactical point of view, and all the supporters would have seen that, regardless if they've completed a pro licence or they're just people that come and watch a game of football. They've all seen that City is nowhere near where the stuff that he's producing. But I've got to say, I thought the combination of him and Tom Davis the other night was, they were up against 2 good players. They gave us balance. They didn't allow us to get exposed. and they dictated a lot of the game, especially the second half. Unfortunate thing is, yet again we're physically we're having to make physical substitutions regarding Ben Mee and regarding Tom Davies. So that's something that hopefully we can improve in these next sort of few weeks.
I was going to ask, that was my next question. How important, obviously not looking past Hull, but the 2 weeks after that, how important is that from that perspective of getting people up to speed? Because you talked about the secret is basically to run their backsides off, but you can't do that in a 3-game week. Having that 2 week with the players who are here.
Do you know what the board and Steve have been outstanding. Steve Bettis have been outstanding because they said, what do we want to do? What do you want to do with them during the international break? Is it right? Should we go away to a camp in Spain and take them away and foster that team spirit? I mean, no, the spirit's there. It's all right. We need to work. We need to work hard. We need to work through this period physically, tactically. It's a real big opportunity for us. I think we've got Chio away. We've got City away with the 21s.
Tyler away as well.
Apart from that, the players that have been in around our starting 11, they're all with us. Tyler goes away 3, Ryan only goes away 4, and I think Niels goes away with the Swedish under 21s. So five boys, but we've got a big group to work with. Yeah. So getting Danny Ings, getting Ben Mee, getting the boys that come in late. Getting the boys that we feel need a nudge up as well. So from a tactical point of view and a physical point of view, we're working. Yeah. We're working. We're not. And as I said, I'm like, maybe if we go and win a few games, after Christmas, and we improve our position, then that might be a nice reward. But we'll deal with that when that's dealt with. And they can't do enough for me, and asking me what I need. I just need time. We need time. We need time from the supporters. We need patience from the supporters because, we're catching up a little bit. Talked about it. We may be, not that we're using it as an excuse, but Southampton have had, their manager has had all of pre-season, 6 weeks of pre-season, 42 days, and he's had 3/4 of August and all of September to try and get his team into shape.
And a transfer window, isn't it?
And a window. So so we're playing, but we just need a bit of patience and a little bit of time, and that time will be put to good effect on the training ground.
Will it be a good opportunity as well for you and the coaching staff to almost take stock of things a little bit more as well? Because it's been 3 weeks since you came in, and it's been pretty hectic time, I imagine, in that time. Does it give you a bit of time to breathe and really take stock of where you are?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're working on the job. We're working tirelessly, in at 7 and gone at 5. So, and I think, you understand the role of a manager. I think the old Liverpool manager's just done an article about how consuming it is and how it doesn't leave you. When it doesn't, you're in and you're all in. So, I wouldn't say take stock. I think it just gives us time to work with stuff, Dan, and it gives us time to individually get into players, individually to speak to all of the group and tell them what we expect, and they're learning. They're learning about me. They're learning about what I want Bramall Lane to feel like, which I talked to them about on Tuesday before the game. It's pretty difficult, in terms of getting all those messages over before the Charlton game. Because there was so much to go at physically, tactically, but the mentality of how we want it to look and how we want the team to look, how they want it to look as well, and Bramall Lane being a massive part of that. And I did get that feel at times of Bramall Lane at close to a real positive environment set off by the players' attitude and their approach to the game.
I know you've been looking forward to seeing that big daft grin again of Ollie Mac. He spoke about his respect for you. Obviously, you've got respect for him, and same with Lundy and John Egan. But I imagine that when that whistle goes at 12:30, there'll be no.
I've got to say, I love them boys to bits. And you saw with Bash's testimonial, everybody turning up, and the close connection that we're trying to build again. We built last year, and we have to rebuild that now into this new group of players. So that wasn't overnight. That wasn't just clicking a finger and all of a sudden pressing a button. It all drops in. So that took a little bit of time, but you've seen what happens in the time that it took, and where they are at now. In terms of their relationship as a group and their memories that they've got. That's what we tried to create last year, and we were well on the way with it. And we're going to have to try and create that, and I'm positive that we can create that off the pitch. But most importantly, as everybody wants to see, is the success on it as well.
Like I say, when the whistle, there was no friendship there, will there? It's a game of football for your team versus his team, and it's game on, isn't it?
Absolutely, no, nothing. No, we'll be into them just as much as they'll want to win. And that's what I said. We don't like losing. And for that period, of course, they're the opposition, and they're standing in our way of trying to gain a big 3 points.